The Senzo Meyiwa murder trial resumes in Pretoria today, with court trying to determine whether confessions made by two of the accused should be admitted as evidence. Now, just last week, retired police Colonel Mbatha, of course, or Mboto, told the courts how accused number one, that's Moses Biya, had confessed to the killing. But the defense argues that Biya was tortured into making that confession and wanted set aside as inadmissible. So eNCA reporter Manqoba Mchunu is in Pretoria for us tracking that story and joins me now to give us the latest. Manqoba, a very warm good morning to you, colleague. Let's get to the reasons why court had to be adjourned yesterday.
Well, the reason why court to be adjourned early yesterday, Dumelo, is because of the fact that the defense team has now added another new counsel to accused 1 and 2's defense team. And this is Advocate Thulani Ngomezulu, who's now joining that particular defense team. He was introduced to court yesterday and had then asked for more time to be able to consult with those accused, that being accused number 1, Moses Biya, as well as accused number 2, Bongani Ntanzi. And it also indicated to court that he'll also need those witnesses that had taken the stand last week, the 2 police officers that testified in this trial within a trial, to be recalled to court. To recall, of course, that last week, Dumelo, we heard from retired Colonel Mboto, who testified to the effect that at the time that Moses Biya had made that alleged confession back in May of 2020, he had done so freely and voluntarily, and that at the time he had not shown any signs of being assaulted. In fact, his evidence was that even when asked whether he had been assaulted, he had indicated that he was not assaulted. He had appeared normal and in his sober senses when making that particular confession. He says his rights were read to him prior to him making that confession, which is very crucial for this particular trial within a trial, because this is exactly what it is trying to establish, the lawfulness of that particular statement that was made, whether it was made under duress or whether there was any assault or torture that was applied for that particular statement to be obtained. And this is going to be crucial as far as that confession is concerned, whether or not it will be accepted as evidence before court or not. And this is premised, of course, on Section 35 of the Constitution. But we know that the trial within a trial still continues. There are more witnesses. They are expected to be called to the stand, and one of those that are expected today is a magistrate that is going to testify to an alleged confession that was made by accused number 2, Bongani Ntanzi, back in 2020 when he was also arrested. But I want to bring in Elton Hart just to unpack a bit of what happened in court and what this all means. And thank you, Elton, for your time. A very good morning to you. Let's firstly just talk about the significance of the evidence that we've heard in court so far. Of course, the defense is maintaining that the accused were tortured. On the other hand, we have the police that are denying all of this. What is the significance of all of this for this trial within a trial?
Manqoba, if we look at it, and if the court comes to the decision and say that this evidence is admissible and can be used, then it's very detrimental to the defense and it will sort of have strengthened the state's case. But obviously, before the court can decide if it's admissible, the court has to go through this inquiry to see if this person was not coerced into actually making this confession. So there's a whole host of things that the court has to look at. But what was worrying for me is that the defense team for accused number 1, in actually questioning and cross-examining Colonel Mboto, they left a lot of gates and openings. Because for me, the first thing that I would have ventured into him is like, and obviously one needs to see also and ask that Brigadier Geninda be called in this instance. Because if you can see, there was a guy that testified yesterday or the day before from the SWAT, the Ekurhuleni SWAT team, Special Weapons and Tactics team from Ekurhuleni. But the guy was at Everton Police Station. Now, Everton Police Station, I think it's closer to Soweto than where Ekurhuleni sits. So the thing already, you should have been in that zone also to question him. And I think the defense team did not do, or the defense team for accused 1 on that instance, he did not do justice to actually try and show to the court that this person was assaulted, to also go into say there was injuries, suffocation, when the person said he was suffocated with a plastic bag trick, because that's the oldest trick that police in apartheid used, and you can't really trace it. So I don't know how they're going to get out to actually prove that this person, the plastic bag trick was used on him, but they need to get that in. And luckily, I saw that there was now a new attorney coming on for accused number 1 and 2. Maybe they will canvass that issue specifically with the confessions. But if not, that confessions will be allowed to come in, and that might be detrimental to the defense case.
Let's talk about that, the appointment of this new attorney, or rather advocate, that is now going to be part of the defense team. Is this within his rights, the accused that is to appoint this particular advocate, and what does it mean for this trial?
No, indeed, the accused has the right at any stage to change his legal counsel. Obviously, he cannot do it all the time, because that will cause delays for the trial, because then this person needs to actually consult with them, get instructions, and even so, and as we have already heard, recalling of witnesses, which can actually take us back into time, and it already gives the accused sort of half a second bite at the cherry. And that's how our constitution is written, how the CPA is written, and it helps the accused now to actually change, and because now he will be able to actually or cross-examine these witnesses again already on what, and now they already heard also what was the re-examination by the state to close gaps where they maybe left open certain things, and also what was the court's thinking of the witnesses. Maybe they can now zoom in that, but there's nothing stopping an accused to say, okay, I'm beefing up my team, but it must not be seen as a pure tactic to actually delay the trial and actually derail the trial eventually.
Okay, thank you very much, Elton. Of course, we're expecting proceedings to start at 10 o'clock this morning, and we're expecting a magistrate to take the stand. And this is the magistrate that took the alleged confession from accused number 2, Bongani Danze. But we're also expecting other police officers to take the stand. And one of those police officers is a colonel that had conducted the pointings out. That is the pointing out of the crime scene with one of the accused back in 2020. Of course, they will be part of those that are taking the stand as this trial within a trial continues here at the North Gauteng High Court.
Sure, of course, to give our viewers a glimpse into what is happening inside court. Manqoba Mchunu, as soon as court proceedings do begin, with you on the ground for us for those updates. eNCA's Manqoba Mchunu, thank you so much, colleague, for those developments.